They could be described as the sight and sound of the suburban summer. Every year they come, colourful and jolly, like a herald of the warm sun and the lazy days of leisure that all winter we have longed for. But have you ever thought about the history of the ice cream van? We take such things for granted, after all, like they have always been there and always will be. But what is their future in our ever-changing world? And why does it all matter, anyway? This is the story of the ice cream van.
Ice cream. We've been enjoying it for thousands of years. The Romans wrote about it in the 1st century AD, creating desserts sprinkled with snow. And some believe it goes even further back than that. In 550 BC, ancient Persians may have been mixing snow with honey, berries, and flower extract to create their special ice cream treats. Here in Britain, the first mention of ice cream was in 1671, where King Charles II was served a portion of it, along with strawberries, at a banquet to mark the feast of St. George.
It wasn't the kind served from an ice cream van, of course. In fact, it was quite a rare delicacy, the ingredients like ice and sugar being symbols of wealth and extravagance. The treat served at the king's table as a visible sign of his royalty. It would also need to be made, served, and eaten immediately, as with no means of preservation, it would not be long until this royal dessert simply melted away. And so it stayed for hundreds of years, with ice cream largely unavailable to the general public until the realm of Queen Victoria, nearly 200 years after King Charles first tasted the treat. One of the first pioneers of bringing ice cream to the common man was Carlo Gatti, who arrived in Britain in 1847 from the village of Maronio, an Italian-speaking region of Switzerland. He settled in the Holborn district of London, initially selling coffee, waffles, and chestnuts from a cart. But his true act of genius would come 3 years later, after setting up a cafe and restaurant with Swiss chocolatier Battista Bola. As well as chocolate, drinks, and small meals, Gatti and Bola sold ice cream. And their method of making it and bringing it to the public was really quite incredible. Under contract from the Regent Canal Company, Gatti first took ice directly from the canal itself, before later constructing huge ice wells at the Battlebridge Basin, where he began to import pure blocks of ice from Norway, shipping them in, transporting them up the Thames, and transferring them via canal barges to their shadowy subterranean home. You can see some of these original ice wells today at the London Canal Museum. Just as silent and strange today as any prehistoric tomb, a grave of ice and old ways now lost. The very first commercial ice creams were born here, and without these dim chambers, chilled and hidden beneath the city, ice cream as we know and love it today might never have happened. Thankfully, Gatti's ice cream empire was a huge success, and by 1851 he had set up a stall at the Hungerford Market, where ice cream was sold for the price of 1 penny and served in a shell. This is one possible origin for the real ancestor of the ice cream vans to follow: the penny lick, a small portion of ice cream served in a glass, licked clean by the customer before being used again. the thickness of the glass helping to magnify the effect of the ice cream, making it look far bigger than it actually was. Penny licks were clearly unhygienic, leading to their eventual banning on health and safety grounds in 1898. But still, it's easy to see the appeal. In fact, Gatti and Bowler continued to expand their business with each passing year, opening new cafes and restaurants, as well as the now hugely popular ice cream parlours. But there was something else as well. Gatti had a fleet of horse-drawn carts to transport his blocks of Norwegian ice around London, a move coinciding with ice cream vendors appearing around the city, often Italian immigrants settling in Holborn and similar districts, and selling their wares from wheeled carts. They might announce their arrival with the sound of a bell, or sometimes by various cries and shouts, the most popular being along the lines of gelati, ecco a poco, or ice cream, here's a little bit. Such Italian phrases became corrupted into English as hokey pokey, a term quickly taken as slang for both ice cream itself and the vendors, hokey pokey men, walking the streets with these first ancestors of the ice cream van. From 1894 serving not only ice cream in the form of penny licks, but from the new novelty of edible cones, invented by the Queen of Ices, Agnes Marshall, who included their recipe in her popular book, Fancy Ices. These cones bore little resemblance to a modern ice cream cone. They were made from ground almonds and intended to be eaten with utensils rather than merely picked up. Even so, it was the start of a turning point in the ice cream story, as were Marshall's other contributions to the field, like her patented ice freezer, able to freeze a pint of ice cream in under 5 minutes, thousands of moulds and novelty designs, and the amazing ice cave, an early type of cool box, helping to further accelerate the portability of these new frozen delights. It was all a massive hit with the paying public, and by 1923 the ice cream cart was about to evolve even further, with the introduction by Thomas Walls and Sons of the first mobile ice cream delivery by tricycle. People may telephone to order some ice cream, and a new breed of hokey pokey man would bring it right to your front door on a specially designed trike, fitted with an evolution of the cool box, keeping the treats inside nice and cold. These new Walls ice cream tricycles quickly became a popular sight, and some even had a list of prices and ices on prominent display, just like we know today. And there was more too. Cecil Rodd of the company came up with a slogan for these new marvels of the ice cream world, a kind of prompt to inspire the passing customer who saw the vendor out on the streets. Stop me and buy one. In that simple phrasing, a million childhood memories were made. The serendipity of small pleasures, of pocket money exchanged for the cooling bliss of an ice cream treat, a momentary pause in a playful world of lawn-scented suburbs and long summer days. Wall's Stop Me and Buy One tricycles continued their popularity well into the 20th century, slowed down only by the coming of the Second World War, where over 3,000 of these trikes were sold to the war effort to become scrapped for their material. But this momentary dip would not last forever, as even with rationing seeing a reduction in ice cream production, it was still well loved and even used as an important tool of morale boosting for our war-wearied troops. By the war's end though, as our taste for ice cream began to return along with its production, things were found to be changing. The Autogelateria, also known as the Carpigiani machine after the Italian brothers who first designed it, allowed for a new kind of aerated, soft-served ice cream to be developed, an invention which coincided with the superseding of the old tricycles and wheeled carts, with delivery instead by motorized van, with prime space on the side for advertising your business. But it was not just a matter of bolting a machine to a van. There was also the need for a generator to run it, often secured at the rear, and meaning that creating such a van was not only expensive, but very heavy, requiring a heavy-duty chassis to cope with the extra weight. This potential trouble with fitting freezers into vans did not deter brothers William and James Conway, who opened their ice cream truck business in the US state of Philadelphia in 1956, following in the footsteps of early pioneers like Harry Burt of Youngstown, Ohio, the creator of the Good Humor brand of ice cream, sold from vans directly to the public. The Conway brothers saw great potential in this idea, having seen freezers fitted into vans to sell ice cream when they worked in the refrigeration company Sweden Freezers, one of the largest manufacturers of ice cream machines in the US. They opened their business on St. Patrick's Day of 1956, giving out green-coloured soft-serve ice cream to passers-by, celebrating at once their Irish heritage, the day itself, and the birth of a brand new business. Their brand name and logo, Mr. Softee, as well as their jingle, written by Philadelphia ad man Lester Wass, really was history in the making. The original sound was played through a mechanical music box, replacing the original idea of the vendor simply ringing a bell, like those old hokey-pokey men. In an instant, memorable and light-hearted music was brought to the roadside. Children ran from their playgrounds for the mere chance to see this joyful truck approaching. Something truly special had been born. Two years following this most impressive business empire, British-born Dominic Facchino visited the US and saw firsthand the beautiful synergy of ice cream, branding, and coloured vans bringing great joy and success to the US suburbs. And naturally, he wanted to bring it over to the UK. However, he found himself unable to acquire the franchise for use in the UK, so decided instead to simply set up his own franchise, inspired by what he witnessed over in America. He started with a pilot of 6 comma carrier vans in the city of Birmingham, painted in pink and cream, fitted with Carpigiani soft-serve machines. And the brand name of this new venture, the beautiful Mr. Whippy, was soon to change the landscape of the suburban summer street forevermore. Just like Mr. Softee, the Mr. Whippy vans utilised a music box to announce their arrival, and the song chosen, Greensleeves, was said to be due to Facchino's interest in British history, with legend claiming that the song, in reality of unknown origin, was composed by one of his special interests, King Henry VIII. For Mr. Whippy though, this ancient and instantly recognisable tune had the power to connect generations, with both children and their grandparents aware of the melody, and soon enough aware that when they heard it in music box form, coming gradually closer along their tree-lined avenue, it meant that Mr. Whippy was on his way. As the business grew, the vans continued to improve as well. In the mid-1960s, engineer Brian Whitby finally solved the issue of fitting heavy generators to power the machines inside the van. He set up a business building custom-built vehicles in Chapel Lane, Crewe, and with the support of business partner Sid Cummings, developed the direct drive system, a revolutionary idea which meant the Carpigiani machine could be powered directly from the vehicle's engine. Achieved with the technical wizardry of drives and pulleys to transfer power and doing away with the requirement for a separate generator in the van. This, of course, allowed Mr. Whippy to be served up almost anywhere, the vans becoming an expected and popular feature at shows, events, and other gatherings all over the country. In fact, by 1966, Mr. Whippy had become so popular that the franchise was purchased by Wall's Ice Cream, almost as if those old stop me and buy one trikes had returned from some distant journey in time, having now grown up and sporting colourful advertising, memorable jingles, and the latest technology. Mr. Whippy soon became so well known that it even transitioned into a generic brand, with soft-served ice cream as a whole simply being referred to as Whippy, the mixture itself available to purchase through the Walls Company for ice cream vendors. They might use a variety of jingles, or sometimes even commission one for their own unique use, helping them to carve out a patch in the suburbs of which to ply their trade. The vans would diversify their offerings too, selling bags of crisps and other kinds of iced lolly, and some even sold packets of cigarettes, a source of great memory making for 60s teenagers who might have sneakily bought a pack from the ice cream man and vanished behind some old shed where parental eyes feared a glimpse to share them round like a rite of passage. As new novelties arrived, ice cream vans would typically give them a go, with innovations like screwballs arriving in the mid-70s, featuring Mr. Whippy in a plastic cup, with coloured sauce and a special treat, the ball of chewing gum at the bottom of the cup. Some franchises went even further than this, such as those operated by Tony Bell, set up by Tony Pignatelli in the 1960s, with fleets of bright pink vans, typically Bedford Cass, adorned on the roof with a mounted Tony Bell cow mascot. Here the idea of ice cream as a treat for children was taken to new levels, with things like badges, branded spoons, and packs of playing cards being given out as part of the experience. There was even the world-famous Tony Bell Mini Ball, a plastic ball filled with ice cream, which could then be used as a toy afterwards. And so these vans, and their colours, names and jingles, are almost like a kind of folklore entity, a spirit of the hazy summer afternoon, a personification of all the little joys and pleasures that we get from these things. When thinking back to the heyday of these vans, looking at old faded photos of them, we may be afforded a glimpse at where man has gone wrong in his quest for concrete and his worship of the phone app. For those lucky ones who knew the old ice cream van, the universe could be found in a plastic hoop. True happiness unearthed in the rich soil of your local street, made richer still by the jolly jingle of the ice cream van, offering a moment of bliss in the laughter-filled hours of a childhood heaven, days all too soon to vanish like the van itself, its melody drifting away. The jingle of the ice cream van, announcing its arrival onto your street, is a rather special part of their appeal. Since they only stay for a short time in one location, hearing the jingle is enough to send parents and children alike scrambling out of the house for the chance to get a hold of a Flake 99, that most iconic ice cream treat. Though, oddly enough, the ice cream van chime has not always been welcomed with open arms. Through the 60s and 70s, various attempts were made to restrict, or even outlaw, the ice cream chime, with excuses ranging from noise pollution to upsetting night shift workers, or even, that most emotional plea of all, causing nuisance to mothers who had to find money so their child could buy an ice cream. Despite the utter absurdity of these statements, the Noise Abasement Act of 1960 did indeed restrict the use of loudspeakers on vehicles, only allowing them to be played between noon and 7 p.m, with the ice cream industry's own code of practice stating they should be played for 4 seconds only, with 3-minute intervals in between. Despite this, 1973 saw a campaign for ice cream vans to play only road safety jingles. Inspired in part by long-running concerns about children being struck by vans while running to them, with one happy, smiling councillor from the Nuneaton District Trades Board calling them death chimes. Thankfully, the ice cream jingle was not muted. And in fact, as more and more franchises and vans began to operate around the country, the music on offer became increasingly diverse, as well as the art and pictures on the vans themselves. Some took to using nursery rhymes, all too aware of the part the van now played in the world of nostalgia. And in 1982, when O Sole Mio was used for a hugely popular ice cream ad campaign, many vans adopted the jingle for their own use, making it one of the most recognisable ice cream theme tunes of all time. As well as this, companies like Harvin Chimes Limited, who produced music boxes for ice cream vans since the 1960s, introduced unusual and even unheard of songs into the minds of suburban children everywhere. One such track was Oh Oh Antonio, a music hall number by Florrie Ford, which told the tale of an Italian girl jilted in love by an ice cream man. No child had ever heard this, of course, but they did hear the distinctly music box chime version, and to them, it instantly became associated with ice cream and summer memories that would last throughout their entire lives. Even today, those same chimes are still the most popular, with attempts to play modern music met with mixed reactions, to say the least. For the most part though, the ice cream van has largely resisted the urge to modernise for the sake of it. The vans have evolved, the old music boxes replaced with digital versions without moving parts, meaning they will never go out of tune by the season's end. And many vans now offer a wide range of dietary options, digital ordering, and other signs of the times like GPS tracking, letting you know when the van will arrive in your street. Despite this, some things never change. Many vans are still fitted out by Whippy Morrison, the evolution of Brian Whitby's first direct drive system company. And even the ice cream itself is mostly the same, the 99 being the most popular item on the menu by a huge margin. Nobody even knows how it got its name. Was it named after the first shop to sell the ice cream? 99 Portobello High Street near Edinburgh? Was it after the first wave of Italian conscripts in World War I, the Boys of the 99, after their birth year of 1899? Or perhaps it was the guard of the Italian King's Army, consisting of 99 men, and thus meaning something special and brilliant. Who knows? But whatever its origins, this delicious treat is iconic with the soft-serve ice cream of the van, with some vendors changing it up to include extra flakes, mix-ups of sauces, and supersized servings of the trademark Mr. Whippy. Ice cream chimes are longer today as well, as changes to legislation in 2013 saw them able to play their songs for 12 seconds at a time, instead of the previous limit of only 4. But that's not to say all was well with the ice cream van, as even today, vendors still struggle with killjoy councils at almost every turn. In 2019, Camden became the first authority to actually ban ice cream vans from certain areas, citing environmental concerns. And soon afterwards Greenwich followed suit, with a list of 33 streets where ice cream vans would be banned, with excuses ranging from nuisance crowds to engine idling concerns. There have even been cases of ice cream vendors investigated for allegedly playing their chimes too loud. The limit is set at 80 decibels, with one vendor in Louth, Lincolnshire, taking to the papers after somebody apparently lodged a complaint, and the council said it was their statutory duty to investigate. This, of course, is all nonsense. The ice cream van is here to stay, and despite there now being only 5,000 vans in the UK, down from over 20,000 in the 1950s, the humble and colourful van is not going to go anywhere. You can buy ice cream from supermarkets and fancy shops, but there is nothing like the simple joy of a soft-serve treat directly from a van. For so many of us, they are the essence of our short and weather-threatened summers, inducing a nostalgia of faded years, now all but lost apart from in fragments of memory. That is their legacy, and the true nature of their meaning and appeal to us, more so even than the ice cream itself. And that's why they will likely always remain, barely ever changing from their original form, like an icon of stability, holding firm over a lifetime of change. After all, these little things that make us so very happy, these tiny moments in our day, they are all of great importance. You may find that one day when old and grey, after a million grandiose journeys have ended, that the finest thing you have seen is the fresh-cut grass in late afternoon, and the resting, tidy gardens of your own youthful suburbia, where an ice cream van waits on the corner, singing a song of summer for you.